Most women don't regain weight because they stop caring. They just weren't taught what to do after the diet ends. Calories creep up, routine loosens, and suddenly the weight comes back. So I'm going to show you the missing step that actually keeps the weight off and how to move from fat loss to maintenance without starting over. Most women don't regain weight because they stop caring. They just weren't taught what to do after the diet ends. Calories suddenly creep up, routines loosen, and suddenly the weight comes back. So today, I'm going to show you the missing step that actually keeps the weight off and how to move from a fat loss to maintenance without having to start over. Most women are only ever taught how to lose weight, eat less, stick to it, watch the scales go down. And honestly, that part usually works. Well, at least for a while. And this is why so many women say, I've lost weight before. What no one explains is what happens once the diet ends. Your body doesn't just switch into maintenance mode on its own. And your brain doesn't suddenly know how to eat without structure after weeks or months of restriction. The deficit stops, but there's no clear plan for what replaces it. You're eating a bit more, routine loosens slightly, and the scales start creeping up again. And because no one ever explained that this is normal, it feels like you've already failed. And that's usually the moment when women panic. They think they've ruined everything, when in reality, they were never shown what this phase is supposed to look like. And this is the missing piece. Instead of just talking about weight loss, I want to show you how the entire process actually works. Fat loss, maintenance, and reverse dieting fit together. And why understanding all three is what actually allows women to lose weight and keep it off without constantly starting over. When you know what phase you're in and why you're in it, weight loss stops feeling fragile. It stops feeling like the one wrong move will undo everything. And it finally starts to feel manageable, like something you can actually live with long term. So let's start with a calorie deficit, because this is where most women get stuck. A calorie deficit is simply the phase where you're eating less than your body needs. So it pulls from stored energy, which is body fat. That's why the scales go down. But a deficit isn't something your body wants to stay in forever. If you've been dieting for a while and fat loss starts to slow down, that doesn't automatically mean you need to eat less or push harder. And I want to be clear here, I'm not talking about a few days where the scales doesn't move. I am talking about a proper plateau. A few solid weeks where you've been consistent, you're sticking to the plan and nothing is actually changing. At that point, a lot of women feel like their only option is to push harder. They try to lower calories again, tighten things up even more, or force more effort, even though you're already struggling to sustain what you're doing. That's usually when things start to unravel. Energy drop, food noise gets louder, the plan feels heavier to stick to even though you're trying just as hard as before. That's not because you suddenly lost discipline. It's because the deficit has become too aggressive for where your body is at. This is the moment where most women think they're failing, when really, the strategy just needs to be changed. This is where maintenance comes in, and it's the phase that gets misunderstood the most. Maintenance calories are simply the amount of food your body needs to keep your weight stable. You're not trying to lose weight here, and you're not trying to gain weight either. You're just giving your body a break from being in a deficit. A lot of women hear that and immediately think, if I stop losing weight, I'm going backwards. But maintenance isn't going backwards. It's what allows your body to recover enough so fat loss can continue later. When women move into maintenance properly, energy improves, training feels better, food stops taking up so much mental space, and yes, sometimes the scales will move, but that's usually just water, food volume, it's not fat, which is why reacting too quickly is the biggest mistake women can make here. You need to let things settle before deciding anything. This is where women tend to overcomplicate things. So I want to keep it simple. If you've been dieting on something like 1,400 or 1,500 calories, I don't recommend jumping straight back to what you used to eat before the diet. Your body has changed, your weight has lowered, your maintenance is different now. A good place to start is bringing your calories up by around 400 calories per day. If you're eating 1,400 calories, I'd move closer to around 1,800. If you're eating 1,500, you would aim for around 1,900. Then you hold there. You don't react to daily scale changes. You give your body time, usually around 2 weeks, to level it out. You're looking for stability. That's how you find your maintenance. Maintenance isn't just something you use at the very end. One common time to use it is when you've been in a deficit for a long time and you feel yourself slipping. Adherence isn't great, energy is low, and you're just tired of dieting. In that case, taking 1 to 4 weeks at maintenance can be incredibly helpful. You're not quitting, you're just resetting. Another really practical time is around holidays. If you want to enjoy more food, maintenance will give you structure instead of guessing. You're eating more, but you're not losing control. That's how women enjoy time away and don't come back 5 kilos heavier. And sometimes maintenance is simply about capacity. Life is busy, stress is high. Maintenance allows you to pause without undoing progress. Reverse dieting comes in once you have actually finished your fat loss phase. This is the phase where you bring your calories back up to maintenance, let things stable, and then slowly increase calories over time. So your body learns how to live at this new weight. I'll use myself as an example here. After having my kids, I was in a deficit and I lost about 12 kilos. Once that phase was done, I brought my calories back up to maintenance. It was around up to 1900 calories. I let things settle and I didn't rush it. Then, week by week, I slowly increased my calories. Over time, my intake worked its way up to around 2600 calories per day. And that was when I was at my leanest physique, eating the most amount of food while maintaining my results. And that completely changed how I see dieting. And this is exactly why we teach all 3 phases in our program. Every woman who completes this process is shocked by how much food she's eating while maintaining her goal weight. We have women who have lost over 30 kilos now, eating 800 to 1,000 more calories per day and still maintaining their results. I still see these women years later, 3 years on, still at their goal weight, not because they were constantly dieting, but because they learned how the whole process actually works. This is what so many women are missing. They lose weight, but they never learn how to live at that weight. And once you understand this, everything changes. You can eat more food, you can maintain your results, and you don't feel like you need to start another diet every few months. If you want help doing this, not just losing weight, but actually keeping it off for life, that's exactly what we help women do. We don't just give you a plan and leave you on your own. We support you through every phase, one-on-one, high-level coaching. So when you finish our program, you won't look to do another diet again. If you would like help with this, you can apply for coaching through the link below.